Well, hello, welcome again to our reading of the Greek New Testament, and we're reading Luke's Gospel, chapter 9, and it's a very long chapter, this one, and we're up to verse 51. Egeneto de en to sumplerustai tas hemeras tes analepsios autu kai autos to prosopon esteresen tu poruestai es Hierosalem. This particular pericope is only in Luke. It's not mentioned in any of the other Gospels. So it came to pass, now we get n plus the articular infinitive here again, and it's very, it's a Septuagintalism, the idea of days being completely filled up. So when the days were filled of the analepsios, this is the assumption, the taking up. This word does not occur again in the New Testament, and it's not in the Septuagint. It's very late and rare. So the day of his assumption, we might say, his taking up. And he himself, Steristo is to fix, to resolve, really. So it's a Septuagintalism again. So perhaps Luke here is using some sort of Aramaic document, some sort of Semitic document that he's just translating into Greek. So it means to fix his face so as to go to Jerusalem. We would say resolve, to paraphrase it a little bit, but it's literally to fix his face so as to go to Jerusalem. So to resolve to go to Jerusalem. And he sent angelus pro prosopu auto. He sent messengers before his face. Again, this is very Septuagintal language. Kai parothentes es elthon es komen Samaritan hos hetoimasai auto, and having sent, having gone, I should say, so that these are these messengers, and they having gone, they entered into the village of the Samaritans, hos himoitasai auto, so it's hos for hosty here, so as to make preparations for him, or to prepare him. We would say perhaps make preparations. Now again, we get very strange Hebraic expressions in verse 53, of which there are comparisons to be found in the Septuagint. Kai uk edexan to auton, they did not receive him. Hoti to prosopon autu ein poruomenon es Hierosalem. They did not receive him because, literally, his face was going to Jerusalem. So we would say he was resolved to go to Jerusalem. And of course the Samaritans and the Jews had a lot of issues, which I leave you to look up all the details on. Idontes de hoimathetai Iacobos kai Ioannes epan. And the disciples, James and John, having seen this, they said, Kyrie theles epomen pour katabenai apotu uranu kai analosai autus. So a question. O Lord, do you wish, literally, we would say that fire, katabenai, to descend from heaven, kai analosai, this is the aorist infinitive from analisko. Analisko is originally to spend, to use up, to waste, or now consume here, I think. So do you wish we might speak, or we might say, we might tell the fire to descend from heaven and to consume them? Straphes de epitimes en autois, and having turned around, he rebuked them. Kai eporuthes and es heteran komein, and they went into a different village. Very strange little pericope here. Not quite sure what the sense of it in this context is. Again, I'll leave it to you to have a look at what the commentaries have to say on this. The next little pericope is in Matthew. So this is from the Q material. It's in Matthew but not in Mark. Kai poromenon auton en te hode apentis pros auton. Akolutheso soi hopu ean ap erke. Genitive absolute. And as they were going on the road, a certain man said to him, I will follow you. Akolutheo, future here, takes the dative. Hopu ean, ean for an, so wherever ap erke you are going. Kai epen auto ho Jesus, and Jesus said to him, hoi alopekes folius ekusin, kai ta petena tu uranu kataskenoses, hode huios tu anthropo uk eke pu ten kephalen kline. This is from alopakes. This is the third declension. This is the plural here. It's the female foxes. It's the word for fox. And folios is a den or lair. So the foxes have their lairs, a good classical word, and the birds of the heaven, their kataskenoses. Literally abodes, perhaps nests because they're birds. Haunts is another translation of this. So the birds of the heaven, so the foxes have their lairs, their dens, and the birds of the heaven, their nests. But hopios tu anthropo, the Son of Man, does not have. We'd have to supply some word like anywhere here, or perhaps a place where he might lie his head. He might lay his head. So slightly odd grammar here. He does not understand a place where, or anywhere, where he might rest his head. Apen de prosheteron, and he said to another man, akoluthe moi, follow me, hode apen, and he said, and then we have in square brackets, Kyrie, epistrepson moi apelthon ti proton thapsai ton parteramu. Allow, this is from epitrepho, so with the sense of to allow, give permission to me, having gone, dative with moi, proton adverbial, firstly, thapsai is an aorist infinitive from thapto, to bury my father. So give permission to me, having gone firstly to bury my father. Apende auto aphes tus necrus thapsai tus iauto necrus, su de apelthon de angeletan basilea to theo. And he said to him, leave, this is from aphiemi, imperative here, allow or leave the dead, thapsai, again infinitive from thapto, to bury their own dead. But you, having gone off, de angele, publicize, publish, abroad. The dia has the sense of doing it everywhere. So publicize the kingdom of God. Apen de kai heteros, and another man said, akolutheso soi kurie, proton de epistrepson moi apotaxastai tois in eis ton oikon mu. So I will follow you, O Lord, vocative, but firstly, adverbial, epistrepson, again it's that imperative from epistrepho, to allow or give permission to me. Apotaxastai is, well, it's to put my affairs in order, I think something like that, or set myself apart, say farewell to, perhaps all of those things. Tasso is to arrange, so it's sort of say farewell tois to those. Now here's a good example of where ace and n are interchangeable, which often happens in later biblical Greek, ace and n. Ace originally was ents and becomes ace with the accusative, and by this stage ace and n are merging back together again. So give permission to me to say farewell to those in my house. Apen de prosauton in brackets Iesus, and Jesus said to him, Udes epi balon ten chera ep arotron kai blepon es ta opiso euthetos esti te basileo to theo. So Jesus said to him, no one, literally having cast or perhaps having put his hand, epi, the arotron is the plough. Aroo is the verb to plough a field, and here we have this ploughing. So no one having put his hand to the plough and having looked having looked back is euthetos, is well placed, literally from you and to themi, is well placed for the kingdom of God. And that is the end of chapter 9.